about over there in the religious world?
Mhm. So yeah, I just want to just show me all. Just
Okay.
show me around. Give me the tourist guide.
Well, this is interesting because you are actually familiar with Ununu in particular, and you were here for a little bit to see the impact of Monom. You know who these people are. I mean, you're a well-known Mercap. You know who these primary personalities are who have literally embodied more mind share than other Mercaps, right?
Right.
So culturally speaking, so you know who they are. So when she speaks of how when Monom's vision settled over us, and and what life was like here, and how it was, uh, it was hard, but we understood, to live a virtuous life. So she or religion here has idealized Monom's paternalist, Monom's deadening and stifling reality. So, unfortunately, Kazi's religion truly is the opiate of the people, like very literally.
Gotcha.
And so, it speaks of the substance in question as a sacred thing. I mean, it's basically
Mhm.
morphine, but it's sacred. Um, and so she's got that point of view, but also recognizing the true threat that Velvelv represents. She says, and all is, but darkness has come upon us. I mean, violence and fear and fire have come upon us, and Monom's voice feels absent to most people. I try to preserve it here as much as I can. So you're up against quite a tangle here. They don't quite seem to get, she does not seem to get exactly that these are perceptual and even, physically shaping influences upon them.
Yeah.
This is what happens when in some ways, it's like, oh, they've made a god out of us. And you're like, well, from a lot of people's point of view, beings like Monom or Velvelv are gods.
Yeah. I think what's very important for everyone to understand is that the heaven or hell that you live in is created in your mind, not his mind. And by his, I mean no. He's not. It's important for you to have that control over self. And then you dictate your reality. When you let others dictate your reality in an unwilling manner, or if it's insidious, sometimes like a toxin that kind of seeps into the ground. That is not good.
How do
And
you
you're
think
being,
the head of the state church, particularly of a specifically conservative church, would respond to a candid conversation with, say, Timothy Leary?
oh yeah, no, terribly.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
you're
wouldn't
you're
suck
you're
to go
getting the
well.
look.
Yeah, to
That
get the
is the
look.
look. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I get it. Um, I'm expecting it. I get that look all the time.
Mhm.
That's the regular look for Dukin. um, and I think since I've been exposed to other races and other points of view, this has become more clear than ever. And I think at the end of the day, the Senzu people are in danger. And that's what I want to avoid. I want them not to be harmed and to have more control over their lives and to live peacefully among us. And if they want to share an alternative experience, then of course that is something that we can look at down the road. But for now, I think it's very important that you are safe. And however we go about that through discussions and even compromises. Perhaps that's something we can do.
Kazi is saying, well, first and foremost, we have to make sure that it's doctrinally correct. We are a faithful people. She's speaking a little bit out of wishful thinking here. You know, all the Senzu are steadfast in their belief, which she probably wouldn't be saying if she could hear what was going on over in that laboratory right now. But she tells you anyway that they're all steadfast in their belief, and we would never accept, you know, an unfaithful or profane or heretical, you know, outlook.
Okay.
And
but I mean, but we can agree that when violence starts to occur against the Senzu people, you know, or the Senzu people start incurring violence against the Mercap, that's not going to end well. It's going to end up with a lot of destruction, and that's something I think that we both want to avoid.
She's absolutely on line with this, and she says, I can now look back at what just happened, and I can see the impact of the great evil upon all of us.
Sure.
I mean, it seemed even to issue from your own body, and I would be suspicious of you if I had not heard the prayers of hatred and violence issuing from my own voice. And this is terrible. I mean, we can defend ourselves, but it's just like Izawick said. I mean, Izawick, between you and me, Izawick's faith is not quite as, you know, as would be appropriate for a political leader. He's a little, you know, a little questionable. Maybe you can help me with that. But he was right when he said we can't defend ourselves if we ourselves have been so terribly altered. Can we trust you to value the Senzu for who we are? Is that possible for a Mercap? I'm beginning to wonder.
I will tell you that I do my best, and like even the most righteous Senzu, sometimes you falter from your path. My path was not to impose my will upon others unwillingly from other races. That's something I'm trying to spread more widely amongst the Mercap and alter their view, but it's a hard road. It's a hard path. But know this: I will do my best to always have you be in control, unless you say otherwise. But to help you maybe see another perspective, but not unwillingly.
She says to, you know, some of the religious acolytes or helpers or something, she'll turn and say, "Leave us," and they sort of reluctantly do. She steps closer to you and says, "Doctrinally, Monome has spoken and said that we are indeed to be compliant to the Holy Word. Are you saying that this was an imposition? It was chemical?"
Yeah, I would say it was. I would say it was. But keep in mind that not all chemicals have to be used that way. But I believe in this way. This is perhaps the truth in the matter. That yes, it was something that, again, like I said, perhaps forced upon. Those are, you know, that we're looking for a clear answer, and he provided you with an answer, but his answer.
Dukan, I can't turn away from the teachings which have proven those of virtue for us, but I can I want the words of Monom to be the the joy of the senzu, to be the guiding principle, the light of. I mean, we she names like a whole bunch of things that senzu do that to her are rooted firmly in their belief and their faith.
Yeah. No, you should. You should absolutely
She says,
hold on to that philosophy.
clear my faith of its puppetry, and we must see what remains of it. Can you help me?
Yes.
All right.
Says Dukin, not quite
Yeah,
knowing what he's
exactly.
getting into.
says Dukin's player looking at her dice pool.
It's like,
Yeah.
sure.
Are you going to detox these people? Are you?
I'm sure I'm opening a whole nother can of worms,
Mhm.
but that's what Dukin does. That's
Well,
what makes
yes.
him fun.
So yeah, so therefore, Divid, I'm in fact all of you, split screen. Clearly, the dialogues are conceptually cross-cutting, even though you don't know it. And so therefore, I'm really interested in what you would be putting together as a project or as a desired message or influence. Well, see, that's the thing. You guys got to look out for this influencing thing. You're trying to, as you say, kind of find out what their reality is, right? Just to remind you, the Psychonauts are able actually to return into the favor to Mercaps, right? So that's one thing. The other issue is, how are you going to do any of that in the face of genuinely horrific chemical assault upon the Senzu compound? Because right now, what you guys have done in this session is literally creating a bubble of alternative and very defiant reality against Velvelv. And it's not just Velvelv. This is the overlap among Velvelv, Ununu, and Monom. That's a potent overlap, right? Paternalist intervention, hardcore conservatism, and paranoid and the need for an enemy.
We are building a biodome.
And not only that, yes, and you are. And I should also point out that they all share that the name of that overlap among the three of them. They all see it as peace.
Yeah, but from three different avenues.
Yeah, but the place where those three things overlap, though, right? That's what the Senzu are living in the middle of as their reality right now.
Now, the Senzu, are the entirety of the Senzu people here, or is this just a colony?
It's
of
a
the
colony,
Senzu?
right? Senzu are scattered all over. They're scattered all over the place.
Okay. So I'm of the mind that in order to have one consensual reality, one commonality by which we can all exist and experience one another, that there must be some type of choice here. And unfortunately, because of who we are, we've inadvertently taken away some of their agency by imposing our reality upon them.
Hence, their religion
suggest,
comes to mind. Yes.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
What I would suggest, and it's also just as invasive as what we've been doing, and that's why I have you here, or actually, why I'm glad you're here, not necessarily why I have you here, Nurin, is to gauge my theories here. What if, because this is all them reacting to us chemically, what if we came up with a way to inhabit or to inhibit their ability to take in our realities unless they chose to. So, for instance, they could mute our realities and have their own, or
Right.
mute someone else's and think freely on their own. But if they chose to, they can open themselves up like we do to a much broader reality. And in that way, that would be some type of stop gate until we can reach a much greater consensus on what the Senzu want, which is very important here. And, you know, what we have to offer. So far, it's been very simple because we've been fighting endless wars forever.
To coin a phrase.
Yes. But now, I guess our people would benefit from some type of respite from trying to hold on or trying to inflict our reality on others. You know, what if we sat back and just enjoyed the reality which we live in now? What say you, Nurin?
Not to be disrespectful, but what recently happened probably doesn't show that we are able to mute anything or anybody. So, in my point of view, we should try to produce something that emulates Dürken's influence, calming influence, to keep things under control. And then I would, and now she's actively looking for this young person who talked about psychonauts.
Mhm.
I would need somebody who would willingly try to share their reality with me.
Mhm.
Although I really don't understand this thing about addiction that you have going on, so I really can't guarantee that there isn't some kind of secondary effects that we wouldn't want.
Well,
I'm really sorry, but there are so many aspects of this that we don't know enough about. I don't think we have the time to
let's say someone
draw this before we act.
let's say someone took away your ability to perceive, or closed you in a box so that you couldn't. When I communicate with you, and in doing so, I'm sharing my reality, and by our very nature, we can enhance that conversation with our ability to enforce our reality or to inflict it upon someone. Imagine if through some type of electronic communication across a vast distance, the only reality you could convey is what you could speak. That is where the Sensu are. Where we,
That's horrible.
exactly, from our perspective, but it's comforting for them. What I'm suggesting is to give them the ability to either speak as we do or to speak as they normally speak, but to give them the choice to toggle which they want to use. We're so comfortable just, if I'm telling you about a nice day, I can show you that day. In fact, we can travel through that day, but the Zenzu can't. But some of them may want to. They may want more than just the expression of words to see that reality. Right now, Monam is giving them an edict.
Well,
And what is it? Who was the other one?
Manon
Nunu
gave them the initial perspective, and
Right.
now Velvel's is more dominant of the three.
Yes. But they have no concept of what the Sensu want. They've never been included in a conversation about their own reality, about their shared conversation, I guess, which I guess is what reality is, our communication of it. But if they have that choice, or like you were saying, calm them down, pacify them, so that we can feel safe. Which I'm all in
No,
agreement
that's
with.
not what I was saying.
That's what Manon did in the first place. Right.
Right.